Welcome back to the Juniper Bonsai channel. Today I'm going to go through a bit of a redesign on this juniper. This is a tanuki, so it is a live tree that is growing around a dead tree. It's not naturally formed deadwood. It's an old tree that's died and a new tree has been placed around it. First thing we're going to go through is my idea of the redesign first. That looks like getting rid of this whole section here. So this whole cascading branch, if I was to get rid of that, you end up with quite a nice asymmetry design. We'll take that out, and then we'll have to make some other decisions as well in regards to some of the health of some of these branches here. Now I'm hoping by part of this redesign you may be able to see in the video that the health of this particular section here, and then this one out the back here as well, isn't looking quite as healthy as the rest. So I'm hoping by taking this out, we're gonna redirect all of that energy and try and help this recover a little bit. Now this could have been due to the repot. It could be many different things. I don't think it's to do with the repot. It came from a much shallower pot and slightly smaller diameter as well. So I put it in a much larger pot to try and just generate a bit more growth to try and help the tree fuse a bit quicker to the deadwood. So I don't believe it is the repot. It could be many different reasons. Maybe this is drawing too much energy. There's various different ways that these could be struggling a little bit. For now, we're going to take this off for the longevity of the tree anyway. I don't think it suits the design of the tree. I think opening it up a little bit more, even potentially getting rid of something like this, taking that out of there, seeing the nice movement and the deadwood in there, I think is going to be better for the design. So I'll give you a quick spin of the tree now. This is obviously the front. And from this angle you can really see the deadwood out the back here, which gets lost from the front. Potentially by taking that out you will get to see a little bit more of that. Some branches out the back here too that are struggling just slightly. There is new growth on there. It could turn out that perhaps they die back, but we do have some other branches to come into play, so I'm not too worried about these, well, particularly this back branch. Even though it's a really important branch, there are other branches that can take that position. This is quite a heavy side as well. So if we were to potentially lose this branch and this branch, we take this off, we lose that and we lose that. The next option is right in here. So from here, taking out that bottom branch is still a really nice design. You still have that asymmetry. We do lose that really low branch, which if that were to happen, if we were to lose these, I would take that out straight away. I don't think, while it's a nice branch, I don't think it's going to ruin the design of the tree at all. So now that we've sort of explained the different design possibilities, the first thing I'm going to do is take off this cascading branch. Now I'm not going to just cut it straight back up to this branch. I will attempt to do a little bit of deadwood just to try and bring that same characteristics from the trunk out into the branching a little bit more. We have some under here as well, which after a bit of a prune, that's going to be a lot more noticeable. So first up, we'll get rid of this. So primarily I'm just taking off the bulk of the foliage now, and we'll be left with all the secondary branching, and then we can decide whether we gin that or what exactly we do with that. We'll get our wire cutters. We'll take off all of the wire that's still on here, because if we're going to turn this into a gin, we're going to strip all of the bark off it. Don't want any wire left on because it's just going to make it way too hard to do. Without that, you can really see that the direction of the tree is much more significantly to the right. So even if we were to leave this bit of deadwood, I don't think it's going to draw the eye too much. We'll test it out, we'll turn it into a gin and see how it looks, because we can always come back and just cut that out if it's too distracting, if it leads the eye too much to the left still. We really want it to just be directionally to the right rather than to the left. I think it looks better straight away.
It does.
Still, the more I look at this, I swear every time I look at it, the worse it looks.
It feels like 9 out of 10 times when you get that feeling, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Other trees is not like, those numbers aren't the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The junipers are like, as soon as you think you see something,
It's
you're usually
done.
have. Yeah.
Which, look, if it happens, like we said...
Well, the good news is, there's a really nice bit of movement through here, and interest through the deadwood, right?
Yeah.
So, what you're doing is radically changing the tree.
Yeah.
Maybe for the better, or maybe for as good, just different.
Yeah.
The other thing is, all of a sudden, to me, now it should be offset,
Yeah.
right? So the pot should be here, and the tree shooting off this way, you know? And this into a gin, and even without... It's funny, the color at the end of this branch looks different.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to eventually look like
Yeah.
that. I'm going to assume, let's say you just did lose that, and then you lose the, or definitely gin.
Yep.
Gin this. Then you're starting here.
Yeah.
I think that looks,
It's still,
that makes sense.
Still a similar vibe to
you
it.
can try to really encourage a little bit
Yeah.
growth down there, but that's cool.
Yeah.
And you're opening, and if you do some really good deadwood work that really incorporates all this shit,
Yeah.
not just saying it can be way more interesting,
Yeah.
it gives you a lot of ability to really incorporate the deadwood,
Yeah.
which the top gins and everything look amazing.
Do you reckon even I just do that now?
I think so, because I don't...
It's very likely I'm going to lose this.
It's very likely you're going to lose that. It's not the prettiest branch anyway.
No.
Right? The way it comes off the trunk.
No.
So it work better as a gin.
Yeah.
Branch. Kind of not just ginning, but showering
Yeah.
this kind of in here.
Yep.
That might help make all of this blend better.
Yeah.
And also, then it won't bug the shit out of you washing it
True, yeah.
for 6 months.
And then have to do it all again anyway.
It's just one of those things, man, because the tree's clearly very healthy.
Yeah. And I don't think it would have been, I thought maybe in the repot, but I barely touched the roots.
No. And I always would say, when you trying to come to those conclusions, if there was a hit, a shock, or something like that, you're gonna see more of an even spread on wellness, right? Not into a branch or...
Saying that we're going to get rid of these, it means we also need to get rid of this lower branch here. So if we were to get rid of this, let me see if I can cover this up. You can see how heavy that is to this side. So if we were to then get rid of that, it's much more balanced. And this branch right here it's coming off of the tree in a really weird angle that isn't ideal. Now you can't overly see it with how it is and where the branch is placed at the moment, but it can become quite a cool gin feature. You can even do some shari work into the living tree. Now in getting rid of these two, the next option is also to get rid of this one, which is a little bit unhealthy. This one is also starting to struggle a little bit, but I might end up leaving that for a little bit and just let the ones up above extend out. In getting rid of this main branch out the back, if I lift that up, you can actually see the really cool feature of the deadwood. It's really nice and intricate. Keeping that, or at least showing that off more, is going to help the design of the tree anyway. A lot of the growth in this, when you sort of dive in a little bit deeper to the tree, it's really leggy. So I think it's been struggling for quite some time. And potentially after the wiring in autumn, maybe it just didn't bounce back well enough. So this is the next one that's unhealthy. So again, I think we just get rid of that. I don't know if we turn that into a gin feature. We will to start with, but whether it stays like that or not, it may in fact just come straight off. Side is all pretty much cleaned out now. So now you can really see. If I was to cover this up, you still have that asymmetry in here. Get to see a lot more of the features in the deadwood and the main movement in the trunk coming out of the soil as well, which is much better for the design of the tree. So I'll move you around to the back and I can basically point out that it looks to be a vein issue in the tree that's causing these to die back. You can see these two branches are exactly in line with each other. So while we're around here, I might even just start removing this as well. It's obviously unfortunate when this happens to a tree. I would have liked to have kept as many branches on it as possible, but if they're dying off anyway, best to just redirect the energy of the tree trying to save those branches and just get rid of them. So we've got rid of that one out the back now. The good thing with straight after peeling all the bark off is that it's still very malleable. So you can move it into a better position. So a little bit of wire, just to get a little bit more movement in it, just to make a bit more sense so they don't just look unnatural, a little bit more sense in the whole design of things. So, you know, this just sits above this, it just sort of ties in a little bit nicer. We bring this around a little bit more to the front, just blends it in and ties it in that little bit better. Thought I'd come around this side to do this piece. I'm just going to remove all of the foliage. Yeah, I think
because
this...
you don't want it to compete too much. This works really good.
Yeah.
Like this, so this one still a nice gin into here.
Yep.
Kind of lines up nice with that, but don't want it to be too...
No, still want the focus to be up here. Yeah. I would even maybe come back right to like here, tie it in with those ones.
Start working your way back, and what would be defining that as you step back here. Okay, how is that working with overall look of the tree?
Yeah, I think if like it came into here and it just tied in with those ones a little bit.
That's kind of what I mean.
Yeah.
And then it takes the chaos out.
Yeah.
Because the first one you did is working really good, I think. It's okay that it goes up and goes down.
Yeah, it almost needs to go like
that's what I mean.
Right to there.
A little stump that ties in with the stuff.
So it's going up rather than coming straight back down.
It's hard not to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that, to be honest.
Because it is a lot, it saves a lot of time.
Yeah. So this is where we'll finish up today. Pretty drastic change in design. Some people may have preferred how it looked before, but I think for the long-term health and plan and the long-term design of the tree, that sort of needed to happen. And as we worked through the health of certain branches on the tree, we realized that we probably had to take that a little bit more off. We'll give you a little spin now. I'll bring the camera in for a close-up as well for a final sort of shot of the tree. The deadwood is starting to tie in with the rest of the deadwood. So you've got this nice piece up here and then at the very top. I think we're pretty happy with how it is now. So let me know what you think in the comments, whether you liked it how it was before or whether you like it now. Either way, I can't change it back to what it was before. So we're stuck with how it is now.